Hey, so today I will be talking to you about the cell cycle, most precisely mitosis and cell division, the asexual reproduction of cells that occur in all body cells, such as stomach cells, skin cells, etc. Except sex cells, the reproduction process for those is called meiosis. To begin with, we'll talk about the stages and phases of the cell cycle, starting at G1, then the S stage, then G2, which we call interphase. This is also where the cell will spend 90% of its life. Then comes prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, which we know as a process of mitosis, where the cell reproduces, and finally cytokinesis marks the end of the cell cycle before it starts all over. The first stage of the cell cycle, or G1, is the growth phase. It's the stage where the cell starts to grow by performing natural tasks, such as absorbing nutrients. It is also the portion of interphase right before synthesis begins, which is incredibly important. Next, we have the synthesis, or the S stage. This is the stage where the cell gets ready for mitosis. It does so by replicating the DNA. The chromatids are duplicated as well. As a result, each of the 46 chromosomes have two sister chromatids. The DNA needs to be replicated because when the cell splits in half, we need to have one set of DNA, identical DNA, for each cell and chromosomes as well. Now we can finally get into the last stage of interphase called G2, or the second growth phase. The cell grows bigger and bigger to prepare itself for mitosis. Just as in G1, it does natural tasks, and it's the portion right after the DNA synthesis occurs. Now that we've moved on to mitosis, we can go to the first step, which is prophase. In this phase, the chromatids coil up into chromosomes, which are thick strands of DNA and protein wrapped tightly together. Next, the nuclear envelope and nucleoli go away by disintegrating. Finally, the chromosomes start moving towards the opposite sides of the cell, leaving behind protein ropes called microtubules. Moving on to metaphase, the chromosomes actually prepare for division by aligning right in the middle of the cell and forming a straight line all together. The chromosomes also attach themselves to the microtubules before moving on to anaphase. The third step of mitosis is actually called anaphase. And during anaphase, the microtubules actually pull so hard on the chromosomes that they split up right in half. Next, the microtubules also pull the chromosomes to each end of the cells, which brings us to telophase. Telophase is actually the last phase or step of mitosis, where the cell structure is completely reconstructed. First, the nuclear membrane forms, then the nucleus within the membrane. Finally, the chromosomes release themselves back into their chromatid forms. As a result, this brings us to the final stage, which is called cytokinesis. This is where the cell splits up in two separate but identical cells. Here's just a little extra lesson about chromosomes. The protein and DNA are tightly wrapped together. Each is a sister chromatid held together by the centromere in the middle while they're intertwined. Thank you so much for learning with me, and I hope you learned as much as I did. Here's my bibliography, as you can see. See you next time!